Hi, and thanks for watching this video, which is about the Oric 1 and the Oric Loki expansion. Now, I've done a video already about this, but in that one I was showing how I could load a ROM into the SD card of the Loki, and I could use that ROM instead of the internal ROM. Previously, I had to use my slightly flaky external expansion bus that I'd created to allow me to load ROMs like my dflat ROM. And so now it makes it much easier to load a custom ROM into Oric through Loki, but I'm also still able to use my existing expansion device. So this is an Arduino powered SD card driver that connects to the printer port. So this was still available, and indeed so was the IJK rather, joystick adapter. So that was all just by using the standard dflat ROM. However, Loki is more powerful than that. It has a lot of potential, actually. One of the things you can do with Loki is access the file system of the SD card natively. So the next, this version of dflat that I'm going to show is essentially that. So first, let's have a look. We have powered on the Oric, and it powers into normal Oric mode, as you can see. If we press the red action button, then that will go into the Loki interface. And here we can pick a ROM. I've shown this before. I can pick which device the ROM is on. It's actually on device 1, which is the SD card. And I've got the standard dflat ROM and the df Loki ROM, which is the new dflat for Loki system. Also on here, I want to point out that the SD card has a folder called dflat, and this is necessary for the dflat Loki ROM to work because it needs to know where to find its files because it won't be looking for them via the printer port on the Arduino device. So let's first go into the original dflat ROM, and here we can see that the build version 0.4, but it's IJK TPSD. That means tape and SD. So I can use the tape IO and the SD card expansion bus through the printer, and that's what we have attached here. Now let's go and just show that this still works. This is all coming off the Arduino in terms of the storage. So let's use the shortcut to do it quicker. Let's go to demos and then TL, which is short for tload, gallery, and then let's load gal2. And before I run it, let's have a look here. So we can see there are a load of bin files and there's 2 tap files. And what I've done is I've copied all these files onto the Loki as well. I'll show that to you in a moment. But first, let's run this, and you should see that we can still run a standard dflat ROM, and it's running off the Loki, the ROM is, but it's still accessing the Arduino SD card. And this is exactly as if I was using my normal ROM expansion. So I'm pretty happy with that, but I've already shown that to you. So what's the purpose? This video is to show the next version. So the next version uses the Loki, dflat Loki. So as I say, if we look in dflat, we can see in this folder there are some folders which are the same as what is on the Arduino SD card. Let's load up dflat Loki. So it's into dflat Loki mode. You can see it's called IJK Loki. So that clarifies, you know which one you're using. If I do a dir, it looks slightly different because the Arduino was presenting the directory information to the Oric. Here, I have to get the information from the Loki and then the Oric has to display it. So because of space, I've had to make some minor adjustments, but exactly the same SD card can be used in either the Loki or the Arduino, as long as the files are in the dflat folder when you put it on the Loki. So here we can see I can do a directory listing. I can also load up a directory, which means in dflat world that means going into the directory. So let's do that. And if I do a dir here in the gallery, again we can see all the bin files. Sizes are a bit strange. I'm still in conversation with the creator of Loki to figure out what's going on there, but the files themselves are all good. So if I load up gal2, you will see that it works exactly the same. First thing I notice is that this is slightly faster than the Arduino driven SD card. Maybe that's not too much of a surprise. An Arduino is much slower and less powerful than a Raspberry Pi Pico, which is what's driving the Loki. So no surprise, but it's a pleasant one, a pleasant experience though to see that I can load files noticeably quicker. Not twice as fast or anything, but it's definitely a little bit quicker. So that's showing the gallery. So let's go into another folder. Let's load demo, no games. And here there's a few tap files. So let's try this one, Lander. So this is just a quick example of the reason I'm loading this up is just want to show that I'm able to continue to load other types of files from the Loki, but also that I can use the joystick, which is attached to the expansion bus, and it's loaded. And all this is, although it says use left, right, and up, I can use the joystick. So let's confirm that. This is a type of kind of lunar lander type game. The objective is to get across to the bottom right and without running out of fuel. Let's see if I can land gently enough because it's quite tricky. Oh, I did it. I'm normally not very good at that. But this is a mix of using dflat and it's using, so I'm using the joystick. This is dflat with the inline assembler to speed up a couple of the graphics parts, and obviously using the joystick as an example. So there you go. That's Loki. There's other things that we can do. If I press the action button on here, the Loki is a very powerful device. Actually, it's powered by Raspberry Pi, as I mentioned. It has APIs to access the SD card, but also you can see here you can plug in a mouse into the USB port of the Loki, and you can plug in other devices. So it's actually pretty. It has a huge potential, and I'm hoping that this is going to do two things. One is it makes dflat a lot more accessible. So now folks can use, if I boot into dflat, you can have exactly this experience by using dflat and being able to save and load files to the SD card that the Loki is hosting. So hopefully that makes dflat much more accessible, and I'll be releasing the code and the ROM, etc., so that you can do that. And secondly, because of the USB port and the powerful engine, an operating system on the Raspberry Pi, which is basically RP6502 based, it gives us other ideas and ways of extending the Oric. So probably other makers will have a great time in building new things for it. And I think for less than £40 UK cost, it's pretty decent value, I think, for the amount of stuff you can do with it. Not only is it for dflat, but of course you can load Oric 1 ROMs or Atmos ROMs. It has a Oric disk interface. You can simulate 4 disk drives. It can simulate an Oric tape interface for Oric 1 or Oric Atmos. So it's got tons of features, both built in and ones that you can extend. And I think for the price, it's decent value for money. So I hope you found that interesting. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching the video.